leaves now?
Man, the leaves are gone, really and truly. I mean, there's some absolutely, I was in Arizona recently. As you know, I was at Genius visiting Mr. Joe, and I returned back to Charlotte, and I was driving to my home. I was like,
Mhm.
damn, it's nice here. Because truly, the trees that are behind you in this
Uh-huh.
image, we've got trees that line the street on the way to the house. They're like little puff balls of orange. It looks like little pumpkins on top of the trees. It's just absolutely beautiful. Now, some of the leaves are starting to turn loose. Obviously, as you can see here, quite a few of the leaves here have turned loose. But there's this one street on the way home, and sure enough, I think it's on a Sunday. Yeah, I got back, I think, on Saturday. It's like little pumpkins. It was
Mm.
absolutely beautiful. So Charlotte's not that bad, as it turns out.
No,
I
it's
mean,
a
the
beautiful
desert's pretty
place.
too, but Charlotte's very nice as well.
No, I really liked, I really enjoyed my time in Charlotte. It's a place where I would like to visit again. I
Yes,
really liked actually, is it I-75? I think it's I-75 that
77.
goes, oh, 77, that's
Yeah.
correct. And it goes by like sort of like a cottage area where there's that lake.
Oh, yes, Lake Norman. Yes, yes,
It
yes, yes,
is
yes.
it's beautiful there.
It
I
is
would love
beautiful.
to try
Yeah.
some fishing up there.
Yeah, if you get off of the interstate there, there's Davidson College is a very prominent private school.
Okay.
Steph Curry went there. He actually went to my girls' high school, and then he went there for
Really?
college. But in there, it's like the village. It's super nice. It reminds me a little bit of Yorkville, just a little.
Mm,
Yeah,
okay.
I
Yeah.
really
It,
like Hazleton
yeah.
Avenue. When I run in the mornings, when I'm in Yorkville, man,
Yeah.
I love the Hazleton Avenue. It's just
Yeah.
so quaint and nice there. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, you
that
have
reminds me a
a
little bit of
little bit
Davidson.
of the hum of the city just starting to wake up, but then
Yeah.
it's still quiet though.
It's still quiet. It's still
Yeah.
quiet. It's super nice, super nice. So I'm super excited just to dive into this simplifier multiplier. Wow. You think
Yes.
it's funny. It's so simple. It's just not.
No.
Is in my research and experience, we just get it. Is it okay just to get into it?
Yeah,
Yeah, let's do
absolutely.
it. Okay. Uh, so when I think about simplifier multiplier, and I continue to whittle on it, and you and I've had some excellent conversations around it. For me personally, I see it more in a process because I feel like and this seems to be true in everyone that I speak with about it. We're both, you are a simplifier and you're a multiplier. You're primarily one, and I
Yes.
feel like it is to create the outcome of the other. So in my example, I simplify first and I do it really, really quickly. But the reason I'm doing it, the drive behind it, is to multiply everything I
Yes.
do.
Yes.
I had a wonderful couple here, other collab partners that are in the Carolinas, and they were here for their vision lab face to face, which I prefer face to face when I can. Obviously, I'm very Zoom friendly these days, but they were here, and we got on the conversation. One of them has seen me type here because they were here when I was doing a connection call with Dan, and I was typing really quickly, and he said you would mess up on two or three letters, and then all of a sudden 10 words would spit out. It's because auto text replacement on your iPhone, I assume most people
Yes.
listening to this have an iPhone, I use extensively. Like an example, most know what I do. Think of how often I would type collaboration, which is not a short word.
Hmm.
So COLL does collaboration. So I'm
Right.
simplifying collaboration currency. That's a good Lord, looks like a mile long. CC spacebar.
Hmm.
I type these things so often that I use simplification tactics so that I can multiply my output. So when I talk about in sequence or in process, the way that I use simplifier multiplier, I do wholeheartedly believe I'm absolutely a multiplier. And there was a time in which I thought I was absolutely a simplifier. But
Right.
when I looked at it from a perspective of in sequence or process to create an outcome, what do I do so that is a big deal for me, so that and of course from Mr. Lee Brower, so that I can multiply my production performance or outcome.
Right.
Do you kind of see it the same way, or do you look at it from a different perspective?
Yeah, so it's interesting how you said that you use those shortcuts
Yeah.
in
Yes.
order to
Go fast.
multiply.
Absolutely.
I look at it, let's say let's use the exact same example.
Yeah.
I look at it as I want to simplify and do like something that you would do. Let's say, whether it's a keystroke, a key combination,
Hmm.
whatever it is as well. I look at it from the point of view that um, I know that I'm going to have to type this word many times.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I make it as simple as possible? You're
Mm-hmm.
looking at from the point of view of I'm going to have to do this.
Your
How
drive
do
is
I?
simplification, and
Right.
my drive is multiplication. Do I understand
That's
that correctly?
that's the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, my drive is just to simplify. Knowing that I'm going to have to do this many times into the future.
But not from a perspective of how many times can I do this in a day if I simplify
No.
this? I can do it 10
No.
times more. Yeah, my drive
Right.
is the latter. I want more production, more performance, less burden, less
Right.
effort, and less time. That's my drive.
Right. Right. And I'm doing it because for example, I'm trying to type it quickly, and I'm making so many mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right? So
That's
it's
it.
like, okay, how do I simplify that? Right?
Yes.
I may be
Yeah.
using maybe just one time
Mm-hmm.
during that day, but I know that I have made the same mistake so many times. And I know that, like, okay, yes, I just changed to iPhone. I realized that you can do those sliding texting just like on my Android. And I've noticed that, for certain words, it's the same issue that I'm having. Like when I'm trying to write
Oh, you
something
mean
very
a
quickly.
swipe is the
Yes,
technology. It came out
yes,
many years ago now, and then iPhone, I think, recreated or bought them. Yeah, and integrated
right,
it. Well, somebody
yes.
did.
And it's still making those same mistakes. So it's like, okay, forget that. I got to replace that.
Yeah,
And
just text auto text replacement. Create your own
exactly,
language. Yeah,
exactly,
that's
exactly.
interesting.
Yeah, but that simplification and multiplication, um, I don't even know if it's the correct words to use, right? Yes, we're simplifying to the point where we're trying to get to the base, whatever an issue is, whether it's a problem that we're trying to solve, whether it's an idea that we're trying to find amongst a lot of complexity. And then the multiplier, I don't know, like it's really the person who's applying
Hmm.
that simplification
Hmm.
as many times over to create growth to the point where now there's so much complexity again. Now you got to go back and you got to go through the simplification and find out, well, what's this complexity? Right? What is it? Is it a problem? Is it an idea that we need to really find out what the core idea is and then to apply that? It's that viciousness of just going round and round and round and round.
Hmm.
It doesn't stop. It really doesn't stop. And that's why I think there's no perfect business because
Yes,
it's a constant, right? Grinding of this wheel, just going from
it is.
simplification, multiplication, simplification, multiplication. And
I
and I almost see
think,
it exists in if we extend it out to the VCR,
yes,
it extends into the V and the C.
yes, I would
I don't
agree.
know about the R part yet. I've been thinking about that over the last few days.
Hmm. Hmm.
But in the V and C for sure.
Mm. In the VNC for sure.
Yes.
In the reach component, I think that the application of driving reach, which is a multiplication of X
Yes.
being the result of the vision, adding the capabilities to create an outcome. The reach is the multiplier by
Yes.
default. The way you approach reach, I could see applying
Yes.
a simplification, multiplication
Correct.
flywheel to
Yes.
then greatly grow your reach. That makes
Yes.
sense
Absolutely.
to me.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
In the application of yes, I do agree with you there. Yes.
Yeah. When
Yeah.
I think about even the frameworks that I design, the four types of vision, the four
Hmm.
types of collaboration, they're
Hmm.
all simplifying. Like collaboration is a collaboration, it is a concept, right? And
Yes.
I'm certainly my passion and purpose and mission is to evolve it into a culture, not just a concept. But breaking down those four types of collaboration was to empower others to multiply the amount and way that they leverage collaboration. So
Hmm.
I'm doing it constantly, simplify so that we can multiply in every one of the frameworks that I've created.
Yes, I think it really, if we're talking about sort of like the chicken and the egg
Yeah.
type of thing, right? It's, which has to come first also, right? Because I think probably even for yourself, you probably had these, the different types of, let's say, collaborations. You've
Hmm.
experienced them all already to
Absolutely.
some
Yeah.
level of complexity, and then you had to dive back for each one and to decide, oh yes, you know what, this is, let's say, a JV type of collaboration. This is a
Hmm.
growth collaboration and whatnot. But, I guess it comes down to, like, even the creation of your tools, you created those tools because yes, you're saying that you wanted to build it for others, but even for
Hmm.
you, you had to go through that type of thinking process,
Hmm.
right? To be able to come up with that, which means that you inevitably had to simplify. So, which one comes first, though? Because when you first started any of your
Yep.
businesses,
Yeah.
it was a simple idea, probably,
Yeah, well, make money was the idea, that's for sure. But
right?
sometimes we forget that, as it turns out. I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs that seem to forget it, one
Yes.
sitting on the other end of this phone call. It's I think natural progression drives complexity as a default. If you have two
Hmm.
and you add one, now you have three, you've
Yes.
greatly increased the complexity of it, whatever it is. So as tomorrow is going to come,
Hmm.
hopefully, the sun will come up tomorrow. When it comes up, there is an addition. Well, what is it? It's an addition of a day. It's a whole
Hmm.
new day. So
Hmm.
whatever we were doing yesterday, and we've been doing it for so many days from inception to that date, when
Hmm.
tomorrow comes, it adds complexity. As a default,
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
world is spinning and you're spinning for longer. So things are in motion and they're bumping up against other things. So complexity is a result of the default that we are in motion all the time.
Hmm.
The
Yeah,
simplification, I think, is driven by behavior. You may be a simplifier, or by it could be also be you're simplifying to multiply.
correct. Yeah. I think, like, I look at it from, if we bring in some scientific terms of, let's say, entropy, where, things
Hmm.
are going towards disorganization or more
Yes.
randomness.
Yes.
And as a business grows, that's what happens. But we
Woo.
try to hold things together.
Yes.
But inevitably we get to, points where it's like, oh shoot, I'm no longer in control. And that's where, we try to go and grab the reins and pull things back a little bit
Yes.
and try to simplify things down. I think I totally agree that, that randomness that comes, uh, maybe this is a question to ask you. That randomness that comes
Hmm.
inevitably by multiplying,
Hmm. It by default multiplication is happening. Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
And that multiplication is happening. Do you think that uh, you can recognize this before it gets to a complexity, or do we tend to leave it for some reason? Because at least for me, I know that I let it go to a point where, until it's like, oh,
Hmm.
it gets my attention. It's like, oh shoot, I got to deal with this now.
I would say, so my answer is a little bit outlined in a book. Let's see who wrote it. Oh, that's right, I wrote it. So my word for it is friction. And I
Right.
talk about the three different types of friction. So
Hmm.
the businesses, the entities that I've started or founded, the ones that were very exciting to me, the ones that had skyrocketing growth, were the ones that picked up on a friction. Premium was the type of friction I'm talking about here.
Hmm.
It's happening. I could become aware of it, but no one's even complaining about it yet.
Mm.
So I would, and that's when I talk about friction is a limitless way to identify ways to create value and to spawn competitive advantage. No matter what business you're in or how long you've been in it or how old the industry is, tomorrow's going to be a new day. The business has been going for longer. There's changes other places in the world that are affecting your current process and your current outcome. That in itself is going to cause friction. If you don't tend to that premium friction, if you're not aware of it, if you don't grasp it to then create new and unique value in your organization, then it continues. And before too long, somebody is putting something in the suggestion box. Or maybe
Hmm.
you're receiving an email that's a complaint. That would be a mid-grade friction. And the mid-grade friction, as long as you'll respond to it, like there's been enough change here, we need to simplify. We'll just use the
Hmm.
words that we're using today. We need to simplify because why? Because our revenue is not growing at the rate that it was. Our clients are not staying as long as they've been. Our attrition is beginning to creep up. We need to simplify this so that we can multiply our outcome again because we're
Mm-hmm.
losing ground. Now,
Right.
if you don't respond to that mid-grade or plus level friction, because I modeled that friction framework just like a gas pump. You have regular, mid-grade or
Mm-hmm.
plus, and then you got
Right.
premium. I like the
Premium,
premium. I just don't like pay for premium. But if you don't respond to those polite suggestions in the suggestion box or those complaints that you're receiving by email or potentially Google reviews, then it becomes a regular grade friction. And if you've ever put regular grade gas into a vehicle, sometimes it makes that
Mm-hmm.
click, click, click noise.
Yep.
That's what your business begins to make. And you don't have any option. You want that to stop? You have to take action.
Yes.
Those are the types of frictions that if it were a train coming down the track, you saw it way out on the horizon, it was a little light. You're like, man, I think this looks like a train track. I think there's a train coming. And then
Mm-hmm.
the mid-grade frictions, I'll be damned, that light's getting brighter. It's sure enough a train. We have the opportunity to get off. We could pick another train track. We could go that way and run real fast and it won't catch up to us. But we can respond to this and embrace this thing that's coming down the tracks. And then at a regular grade, this complexity has elevated to a level that, and you mentioned it earlier, I have to tend to this. I don't have an option. It's not going to
Yes.
stop and it's actually going to continue to intensify. That complexity is going to continue to get more complex and chaos is beginning to ensue unless you
Mm-hmm.
stop and simplify it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, yeah. I do agree with you. Like we went through this process very recently actually at Shanny's clinic where
Hmm.
um everything looked great on paper actually. The
Hmm.
KPIs, everything was looking great. Except for we started to notice that we're getting the odd complaint from a patient.
Hmm.
And we're like, well, what's going on? Like, who's treating these patients
Yes,
that are
indeed.
complaining? And then that's when we realized, oh, it's one provider.
Yes.
Right? And that's like, okay, so what's going on with this provider? And then you dig deeper and deeper and deeper into that, and then you realize, oh, okay, we need to simplify something in the onboarding process for this person. They never went through this part.
Mm.
Right. And because of that, there was the handoffs were not being performed
Right.
properly. So
Yes.
so again, so it's that realization to, oh shoot, I better take care of this now before it gets spiraling out of
Yep.
our hands. And then, then it becomes I think you called it a premium friction, was it?
Premium,
Or
yeah, yeah.
you're right.
Well, premium is whenever you can spot it way out. If it's a train coming down the track, you can
Right.
see that train a long way away. You can hear it, and there's a little bit of light on the horizon. Like, you know what? I think that's a train. We got a lot
Right.
of that. We could go to a different state probably. It's so far out. But if we
Right.
don't do that, that friction continues to get closer. The light gets brighter. Before too long,
Yep.
it's a regular grade friction. It's a real friction. And
Then
if you
you're in
don't get off the
trouble.
track, you're going to get ran over. Yeah.
Right.
You
Right.
have to react, basically.
Absolutely. And it's having that attentiveness though, to be
Yeah.
able to see that as far out into the horizon as possible. I think that's the true skill.
It's interesting. I was reading recently, and I think it's a book that Dan suggested. At least I think it's in the book called Primal Intelligence.
Okay.
And if so, Dan is the one who introduced me. Dan Sullivan is the one who introduced me to the book. And in that particular book, it talks about intellect actually being a result of pattern recognition.
Hmm.
That the
Yes.
closer that you can get to understanding patterns that are happening, because again, we are on a spinning planet that's
Hmm.
going round and round itself.
Hmm.
So everything to me is a pattern.
Yes.
And if I can get really in tune with understanding the pattern, I can also see what the pattern is going to produce. And I think being wired up that particular way has helped me a lot with finding friction in other industries that I had no experience in, and then
Hmm.
spinning up a company and over and
Hmm.
over and over and over and over. It's all pattern. Now that I understand, thank you for reading. Um, Now I'm understanding exactly what was the pattern that was creating the or producing the outcome, and it was pattern recognition inside of anyone's industry. That
Right.
you're
Yeah.
expecting to go this way, and it's going this way here. But I was fortunate in one of my businesses, I was able to see so many businesses. And
Mm.
I would sometimes I would go to this landscaper at 6 a.m. and to another landscaper at 7:30 and another landscaper at 1 or 2. And I saw probably 10 businesses or 12 businesses that day. So it's
Mm-hmm.
really easy for me to see patterns that were same for all businesses and patterns that were the same or different in a vertical, in an industry. And so
Mm-hmm.
just picking, I'm not smart whatsoever. It's just I recognize the patterns. So
Correct.
that's what it makes a lot of sense to me that it is the patterns.
Yes, I agree with you there. Let me extend it a little bit by saying
Yes.
it's not just the patterns that you're able to recognize, but you're able to connect the different patterns from different situations and create connections between those patterns. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's the true thing that I think a lot of people, when you're able to make those types of connections, those are the real ahas.
Yeah, it's always in the middle. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because,
It's
and I
always in the
think
middle.
that's like you speak about Dan Sullivan's strategic coach, that
Yes.
triple play part, where you
Yeah.
think, right, these ideas are so abstract,
No,
but then
no.
there's connections between them.
Everything's connected. It's just, do you see the
Absolutely.
connection? Yes or no? Yeah.
Right.
If you sprinkle in some quantum physics, everything's connected and everything's in all states at once, all particles in all states at once until they're viewed. So
Hmm.
am I just viewing these particles in the current state, or
Hmm.
am I viewing, and my references is dimensional vision awareness, the particles in a different state?
Hmm.
Already this very abstract thing is connected to this very abstract thing, just not
Hmm.
in the current reality as we know it, right?
Hmm.
And then if you combine that we're all getting 2.2 million inputs a day, but we're deleting all but 130,000, we're literally creating reality.
Right.
It's just
So
you're
then,
deleting different things than I'm deleting.
right, right. So then by nature, we're simplifiers.
I think by nature we're simplifiers driven by multiplication. Personally,
Yes.
yes,
Right, right,
yeah.
right. Yeah.
I definitely simplify really quickly, but not to the depth that you do. I will
Mhm.
leave things out. I even have a custom sign. What did I leave out above my door when humans used to come here and meet?
I saw
Yeah, you
that. I
saw the
saw
sign.
that.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And it's for that reason. I see it, but I'm only simplifying it in my mind so that I can multiply the heck out of it. If I were to be able to print that out, let's say if the readout of my brain looked like ChatGPT once you hit enter, you would
Hmm.
see all the steps that went through in simplifying what can seem a little bit like chaos, so that now I can put the building blocks together and multiply the heck out of it.
Hmm.
So that's why, and you'll notice even on the bottom of my little Zoom signature, it says a little s and a capital M, because I wanted to be reminded of this so I could see it happening and understand if truly that is the patterning I'm applying, of course, so I can multiply it by sharing it with others. A little bit of what we're doing here on this podcast.
Right. So
Mhm.
then would you say then with uh from let's say an EOS perspective
Yes,
that an integrator should be a multiplier?
I would think a simplifier.
You
Because
would
they have
think a
to implement.
simplifier. That's
I would
interesting.
because they have to, and of course, from my perspective, which is probably wrong, but it's right 50% of the time. For me, at the and I've been so fortunate, so very blessed to be at the top of many, many organizations. I've always simplified to multiply, but then I hand it to someone and they've got to get it in the system. Well, that system's
Hmm.
already running. So I'm going to take this cobble of task and sequence and I'm going to integrate them into a current many cobbles of tasks, and they have to integrate. So to me, that's a simplification of it. Now, once it's integrated, it's very, very easy for me to come and say, you could do X and Y and multiply it times Z and and multiply the heck out of it again by what? By simplifying what exists.
Hmm.
But I have no real interest in understanding everything over here and integrating that together. I already see the outcome of this,
Hmm.
and I'm moving on to the next thing that I've simplified to multiply.
That's very interesting because I look at it from the perspective of me being a simplifier. I would want
Yes,
my integrator to be a multiplier. It's
I can see.
yeah, I look at it like that to so let's make it a little bit more personal then.
Yes, let's do.
With Nathan then,
Yes,
would you consider him a simplifier or multiplier?
simplifier.
Oh, see, very
I
interesting.
I do think he's a simplifier. We'll take, and a lot of folks probably listen to this, Dean Jackson, simplifier.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then he'll
That,
simplify it. I see immediately how to multiply it. And then I'll
right.
share that with him and he'll look around a little bit and then he'll say, imagine if da, 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 da. He
Right.
simplified it again.
Right.
And
Right.
as he's doing it, I'm saying, yeah, you know what, that's true. You could do this and this and this and add a zero to it.
Mm-hmm.
But the
Yeah.
simplification for me is from an integration perspective, I feel like they have to simplify it down so that others can understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to simplify it down and see the correlation to what already exists when you're integrating into a legacy system or legacy team members.
Right. Yes,
That's just
absolutely.
from my perspective, but I appreciate the way that I'm intrigued. So you simplified something,
Yes.
implementation of on-prem server moving to the cloud. We're going to
Yes.
pretend like it's 8 years ago.
Sure.
Obviously, there's not many of those left. There's like one in Ohio. That's it. That's all there's left. Anyway, but if you simplified that process, if I were your integrator, you would
Yes.
like for me to go implement that process. Is that a true statement?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And then once it's implemented, you would like for me to improve it by coming up with a way that we could turn this process that you created from simplification into intellectual property and turn our competitors into our clients
Correct.
as an integrator.
As an integrator.
That's very visionary to
Yes.
me,
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
course, right?
Well, and that's the thing. I think that's where when it gets to a certain point, inevitably it comes back to us, right? And I think it would be the
Uh-huh.
same thing for you too, right? You would send it to a simplifier. It gets to a point where it can't be simplified anymore, it has to come back to you. And I think
Yes.
that's where that flywheel that you
Mm-hmm.
had mentioned before in previous conversations, it inevitably comes back to us,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
For either for me, simplification, and for you, multiplication,
Mm-hmm. I like
right?
what you're
So,
saying there. It makes it, even in Dan's book, the Simplifier Multiplier, it outlines, and I say I've said this all the time. I've also voiced it with them. It's like, they have all these name tags on all the folks.
hmm
I'm in 10X, my Colby is this, my print is that.
hmm
I would love to see a big S or big M. I mean,
it makes
I might
such a
even
big
said this.
difference.
Yeah, if you have 26 locations flipping donuts in Southern Florida and I catch fish off the coast of Alaska, which would be a horrible idea. I don't like fishing. I do like to eat some fish. If you're a simplifier and I'm a multiplier, let's have a conversation. Why?
Mhm.
Because you're going to simplify the way I'm catching fish and I'm going to multiply the heck out of those donuts. And I don't even like
Right.
donuts either. But what I think is it gives us an immediate way to identify a value creation opportunity with no bias. I
Yes.
don't have a bias. You got the donut shops and
Yeah.
man, I'm hanging off the side of a boat in the Bering
hmm
Sea. Why would we talk? You're talking about the abstractness of things applicable to Mr. Dan's triple play. When you push them together, there is an emergent. Well,
hmm
wouldn't I like to push together a simplifier and a multiplier because the emergent is going to be something new and unique? If I just put together a multiplier and a multiplier, they might eat each other. Who knows? It
Yes.
might
Yeah.
spontaneously combust, but
Yes.
we'll never be able
Absolutely.
to implement anything that they come up with if we're not careful because it hasn't been simplified so that the system could receive it.
Yes. Absolutely. I believe that a simplifier by nature is looking for a multiplier, and
Mm-hmm.
vice versa. A multiplier is by nature looking for a simplifier,
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you,
right?
Charles, if you could help me simplify the way that we're doing collaborations, the way that we create them, we identify them, of course, all over the world for entrepreneurs.
hmm
I'm to me, I'm simplifying the assets that I already have so that I can multiply the assets that I already have to create more than they ever wanted. Like I'm running my process for them. But if you could come in and see what I'm doing and then simplify it, I am all ears, all ears.
hmm
Because the second that you do it, I'm going to add a zero to the throughput. Why? Because that's what I
Right.
do. Yeah.
Right. Right. Right.
So,
Yeah.
so
It's
yeah,
very
I
interesting.
thirst for simplifiers personally.
Right, and I'm looking for multipliers all the time.
Hmm.
That there's a synergy, I think, between the two, and you, I think, hit the nail on the head where when those two combine, forces, whatever you want to call them, it's inevitably creates a value,
Yes.
right? And
There's
and
always an
whether they're
emergent.
exactly, and whether they're in the same industry or not, or whatever it is, there's always because it's a mindset. It's a
Hmm.
mindset difference between the two, but that need to be able to work together is just it's almost like magnetism. Like it's
Yes.
because you can't have complexity without reducing it. And then when you do reduce it, entropy hits as you grow, and then you
Mm-hmm.
gotta you hit which is the multiplication side, and inevitably you gotta do that again.
Mm-hmm.
It's a vicious cycle,
It's a wonderful
right?
cycle. Good job security for us.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I've been looking back and just let's think about even Amazon to where it got to today. Like how many
Yes.
cycles of simplifying and multiplying for every one of their processes,
Yes.
departments, roles. It's just amazing. It's just
Tesla
amazing.
would be another good example.
Huge.
We're going to put in a bunch of robots.
Yeah.
We're going to take out all the robots. Like
Yeah.
that's it. I mean, there's
Yeah.
an evolution of things and opportunities and capabilities that create a much bigger outcome with what already exists when you recombine it,
Right.
which I think is at the
Right.
root of all of this. So
Yes.
combine for me is a magical word. When I look at ultra high performers, and those that do not perform very high, if you had a scale of the ability to combine, you could correlate those all three,
Hmm.
ratcheting up. I combine a whole bunch. It's easy for me. It's in my rhythm.
Hmm.
I'm ultra high performer. I combine, but not as much. I'm a high performer.
Hmm.
I don't combine very much. I'm running
Hmm.
through life. I'm receiving these 2.2 million inputs that we talked about earlier. I'm deleting all but 131,000, but the 131,000 as a default, I'm not combining them.
Hmm.
If you are
Yes.
combining them, each and every time that you do, you're creating an emergent. And that emergence where value is created and awareness is created.
Hmm.
And tons of, I would argue, knowledge is created.
Yes.
It was it Steve Jobs that said all creativity is combining two things that already exist. There are no new
Hmm.
things. There's just
Hmm.
emergence from two things that exist.
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
take it to heart. I run this program of combining everything that I am introduced to on a daily basis.
Hmm.
It produces a lot of opportunity.
Well, I think if we're speaking about that, let's say, within Collab itself, that connecting part,
Mhm.
right? Like even down when we were at CollabCon, that altruistic, authentic
Mhm.
connections that were made with people
Yes.
there, it's just it's really about you're not having to think about yourself because
Mm-mm.
everyone else
Not at
is
all.
like, "Hey,
They're
Chad,
thinking
how can I
about you
help
for
you?"
you. Yes.
Right. It's like, Chad, how can I help you?
Yeah.
Right, type of
Yeah.
thing.
It's
Right.
when I
And
talked about earlier evolving collaboration into our culture from just a concept that so many people talk about. Fast forward. What if 8.2 billion people on the planet woke up tomorrow wondering what they had to give to Charles Chang? Does
hmm
Charles need to be really worried about what he's going to go get that day?
hmm
No, he's got 8.2 billion people looking out, having what can we give to Charles to create an outcome? How can we integrate with Charles? And when there is an outcome, how do you want to split the outcome? Really
hmm
simple. Yeah,
hmm
that's what I see from a big vision standpoint. But
Yeah.
I have a question for you. And I would expect, like, if I were just listening this for the first time, if this simplifier multiplier concept, maybe I've read Mr. Dan's book, and I would strongly suggest to encourage you to engage with Strategic Coach to learn so much more and so many other concepts. But if you're hearing this for the first time, how in the heck can you figure out if you're a simplifier or multiplier when there is a process that we're all utilizing? So earlier when I talked about the multiplication, combine is the magical word for me.
hmm
I feel like combine is a multiplier. And from your
hmm
perspective, being a simplifier, does combine still mean the same that it does for you, that it does for me? Or do you envision there's a better word for simplifiers to help identify they are themselves a simplifier as a primary, as the way they want to contribute to the world?
hmm
Because the magical word for them is X, where for
Right.
multipliers, for me, it's combined.
Right. Well, I think the first part, let's say if I'm thinking about myself as
Yes.
an individual, for me, I'm one of those people, I'm always asking the question why,
Mm.
right? And I don't like to just go surface level, but to really, really go deep
Mm-hmm.
into the why. And
Mm-hmm.
because of that, I don't like to solve a problem just by asking a few questions and saying, "Oh, that right there, that's the reason." No, it's about, am I sure that's the reason? And then to go as deep as I can. And even when I think the problem has been solved, I'll still sit on that and to
Mm-hmm.
see, let's say across a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, to say, was that the actual reason? Right. So
Interesting.
I want
Yeah.
to make sure and I think that in itself is trying to really make sure that when I'm coming up with a solution or giving an idea for whatever the issue is, it's that I've 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 made sure that it's as dumbed down as I can because I am truly hitting the heart of the problem, not
Mm.
one of the, let's say, the outcomes of a problem that I'm sort of seeing like
Yeah.
a symptom or something, but
Yep.
it is the true heart of the problem. So
So
that's
you'll
that's
sit with it for 30 days even or more.
absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
because it's something where it's like, is that the real problem? And I'll give you a true life example. With our marketing company right now, one
Mm-hmm.
of our clients, they have these Google ads that are going out.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're in our quarterly, my integrator for the company is like, yeah, you know what, we're having some trouble
Mm-hmm.
in generating leads through the
Mm-hmm.
ads. So then we go through, we take a look at all the ads, and then historically I said, well, what are the other ads that we had?
That we're
We'll
working.
go
Yeah.
back maybe 2 months, 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Why were those working and why are these not working?
Right.
Now, there wasn't much of a change in them. But then, we start to notice that, hey, you know what? Maybe it's not the ads. Like
Mm-hmm.
we're assuming that it's the ads,
Right. Because that's what you have control over. Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But then, every time there's a lead that was generated, let's say from a landing page, it was sending out an email to the client.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, well, are you sure that is still working?
Uh-oh. Mm. Oh, well.
Right? So
And that was
maybe
the
it
issue?
wasn't the ad itself. So
Right.
then we test it out. Yeah, it's working.
Mm-hmm.
Are we still sure it's working?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're receiving it, but it's being filtered
Yeah.
before it even gets into their mailbox. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
even showing up in their junk mail. So it's that type of thing where it's like really getting down. What's the core issue? That's
Mm-hmm.
something where I'll constantly do until I
Mm-hmm.
feel that this was I'm hitting the nail on the head now. This is the core issue.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to connecting, right, and
Mm-hmm.
collaborations, I see collaborations as a way of uh, how should I say it? I see it as a simplification, as a
Mm-hmm.
simplification to scaling.
I
That's
could
how I
argue.
see it.
I would say 1000%.
Yes.
Uh, so from the sequencing in which I apply the methods, I simplify it.
Hmm.
How can I create the outcome with the least amount of investment, time, effort, energy, people, human capital, cash to create the much bigger outcome?
Yes.
So, but I'm looking at that filtering, saying, how can I simplify this? Okay, I want to grow to 10 million. I want to go to 100 million. I want to go to a billion. We're
Hmm.
doing it this way currently. How collaboration to me is it's the fast pass at Disney to me. It's
Right.
the always the fast pass.
Right.
But that is so that I can ride more rides.
Right.
But
Right.
so I want to get the outcome, but it's so that I can go do more of something else, which in this example, the ride analogy is collaboration to me is the absolute fast pass. I've done it because I did it the other way. I learned HR. I
Right.
learned financing. I
We're all
understand
guilty of
credit
that.
lines. Yeah, I never did any kind of well, I didn't do SBA for any company I started, but I've helped many others through the process.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of things that I've learned. Like I wouldn't take anything for the education, but if I were truly wanting to create the outcome of financial freedom and freedom of time, if I would have leveraged collaboration a long, long time ago, I could have been to where I'm now, probably in 25% of the time.
Right.
So it's a
Right.
75% multiplier.
Right.
Collaboration was.
Right. Well, I still think that you recognize that um, that pattern of
Yeah.
collaborations, and you were able to stop
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
that,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No more companies, only collaborations.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Yeah.
like
So,
that.
and I look at collaborations as, yes, it's a simplified version of scaling, because there's
Yes.
certain things that I can't multiply. Sure, okay,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I can multiply, but it's not my forte. I'd
Mm-hmm.
rather simplify the complexity.
Mm-hmm.
So the best way for me to scale would be to find a multiplier
Mm-hmm.
and, and to work collaboratively for sure.
Absolutely.
And that
Yeah.
would be the easiest way to scale.
Mm-hmm. That would be the
Mhm.
easiest way to scale. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see that for sure.
Yeah.
It is kind of tough to know what you are predominantly are. I've talked to many, many entrepreneurs, and many of them are in strategic coaching. They talk about I am a X or I'm a Y, and
Hmm.
you look at them, you're like, no, 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 no.
Hmm.
You're absolutely a simplifier, or you're
Right.
absolutely a multiplier, and you can see them because you see them in motion. You're recognizing
Right.
a pattern of their
Yes.
behavior, and you can see a lot of times in the way that they're approaching a situation or an obstacle, an opportunity from the simplifier perspective
Hmm.
versus the multiplier perspective.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I think it's
was it
because
easy for you to find out that you're a simplifier, or did at one time you think you're a multiplier? Did you ever have this thought?
I thought at one point that I was a multiplier for a
Yeah.
brief moment. When
Ah.
when I was actually the company was going through a scaling process,
Mm.
and I was enjoying that scaling process.
Uh-huh.
Whether it's through marketing efforts, whether it was through uh, networking
Yep.
for this, but networking not for the sake necessarily of um, let's say looking for possible clients or anything like that,
Mhm.
but networking to see, um, you know, I would say more of like market research, right? To
Hmm.
try to understand the industry even better, even
Yeah.
deeper. And
Hmm.
that's when I was like, hey, hang on a sec. I'm doing market research. I'm not actually trying to expand my reach. I
Right.
was like, hang on, am I multiplying here? Or am I trying to simplify
Simplify. Yeah.
what I see out there to solve their problems?
Yeah. I see what you're
Yeah.
saying. Yeah.
So it
Yep.
was
Yep.
a
Yep.
brief moment when it was scaling, and we're like, oh
Mm.
yes, I'm enjoying this marketing side and
Mm.
trying to, but then I was like, no, I'm actually simplifying. So, but we've inevitably, I think, worn both hats at one point until
Mm.
we recognize, hey, this is what I'm better at. I need to stay in my lane and I need to collaborate with somebody who's a multiplier.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when I mentioned so that,
Yes.
I think that's helpful for others to when they're going along this journey to identify if they're a simplifier or multiplier,
Hmm.
if they would use, I think I am a multiplier, but I simplify so that, or I think I'm
Yes.
a simplifier. And this is a question directly for you. When you look at something, do you if pretend like you can fast forward the movie and
Hmm.
rewind the movie? You're
Hmm.
currently in the present, a process in one of your businesses. Are you able to fast forward that? Let's say that we're doing 100 a month. Do you fast forward the movie and say, I multiply it, we're doing 1,000. This process is not going to work at 1,000. So you go back and simplify the process so that it could then hold up. And no matter what the scale is, you're good for a while. Do you feel like you
Absolutely.
multiply it so that you can simplify it? Is that a decent way to
Um,
put it?
I don't say that I multiply it, but I test it. I will
Mm,
say that I
hmm.
test it with the requirement of having to do this 1,000 times or 10,000 times. If
Hmm.
I have to do it, will this still hold up? So that's one of my qualifiers that I use to say, hey, this process is still too complicated. We got to simplify it even more.
Mm. Even though it's working currently,
Even
it's
though it's
not going to
working
work.
currently.
3 months, this thing's not going to work because we are planning to grow. You know what our growth plans are, and you're like, this is
Right.
not going to work.
Right.
Mm,
And I
that makes
think
sense.
that's part of, having that clarity of vision to be able to see into the future, like that
Yes.
to see that small light of the train that's coming towards us, And to be able to see that ahead and say, yeah, it's working fine now, but at the growth rate that we're having, in
Mhm.
6 months, this ain't going to work. I better go and start simplifying this. It's
So this
having
is
that foresight to be able to do
yeah.
that. Yeah.
It's interesting. As you were describing that, I'm thinking Charles is going to simplify the existing process so that it can work in that particular business that he's doing it for. The second that Charles does that, I'm thinking, man, let's put a name to it. Let's put a landing page. Let's integrate Stripe. Let's do some Facebook ads and sell it to launch it at IT Nation. Give it a like, how can we multiply the heck out of what you just created? Because
Right.
what you've created is an immense value for IT organizations that serve dental clients you do US as well, correct?
Yes, correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
down the US and also Canada, who target dental offices about this size and this complexity. Like that's a that's a unique value that you've created that is intellectual property that could help a lot of other people.
Right. And that's because you're the multiplier.
Mm-hmm. And you're thinking,
You're-
this works, we're good for now. Let me go simplify something else.
Right. Yes.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so all the time I'm creating complexity to what already
Yes.
exists, and you're simplifying it from complexity
Right.
so that it can be properly multiplied.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
this is
imagine
dangerous.
that, you take let's say whatever process that, I created, you take that and you're doing that. You're doing the landing page, you're
Hmm.
saying all these things. That creates complexity. Instead of having, let's say, 10 leads, all of a sudden we're getting 100 leads because of that, because you've multiplied it so well.
Yes.
Oh, Chad, hang on a sec. Okay, I see a few things breaking down here. Let me
Yep.
go simplify that.
That's amazing.
Landing
Please
page is
go do
working
that.
fine.
Yeah.
Right, landing page is working fine,
Yeah,
right? But everything else isn't. Let me go and simplify it,
that's
right? And
awesome.
it's that flywheel.
That's the flywheel. So,
Yeah.
as other entrepreneurs are certainly going to be listening to this, and other collab partners as well, we'll definitely launch it in the hub and on the WhatsApp. It's such a vital concept or methodology, and we're all individually part and piece, but we have a primary. If you do not have a simplifier and you are a multiplier, if you identify as a multiplier and you do not have a simplifier, go find them. Like go find
Absolutely.
them. I tell you, in leaving this, I'm so glad that we talk about this topic from time to time,
Yes.
and I'm so glad we finally did a podcast on it. I hope that a lot of people find value out of it. But for the collab, I'm going to get with the team and request that during onboarding, we help leverage with identifying are they simplifier or multiplier, and then carry that on our badges and of course in the collab hub. So if I'm looking to meet a collab partner and I see that they're a multiplier or a simplifier, I'm excited about having a conversation. And I kind of know what to expect from them too. I think that's
Right.
critical. Yeah.
I think
It
so.
could
Because I think in any collaboration, really, um, you need to have um, some sort of combination of the two to really be able to for that collaboration, or whether it's an architect,
an
even
architect. Yes.
right, even if let's say there's two simplifiers or two multipliers,
Yes.
that architect to be possibly the opposite, because
That's
in
gonna be lovely.
every
Yes.
yeah, in any business, depending on what phase you're in, whether you're in a growth phase, right, which
Yep.
is, let's say, multiplication side, or whether you're in a, hey, we got to solve this complexity, and maybe you've plateaued off, right? That's usually when, things start to plateau off and you need to simplify.
Yes.
Inevitably, you need both. At
Absolutely.
one stage or another, you need
And
both.
collaborators will need both as well. It makes a great
Yes.
point. Certainly for the architects, we're going to
Yes.
take a look at them first and go ahead
Yes.
and badge them accordingly. And this is really good. Now we're moving to, and maybe the emails came out today. If not, they're coming immediately. I did a webinar yesterday on all the things that are coming for the collab next year, the collaboration councils, the assignment of an architect. Well, since everyone has their own individual architect assigned because they're part of a collaboration council,
Mhm.
that means every collaboration has the opportunity to have one or the other collab architects that are assigned to the current collab partners. So you get to choose. And then I think having them identified as a simplifier multiplier will be very helpful to say for this particular collaboration, I need Charles. I don't need
Right.
Joey, who's my typical architect, which is
Right.
we've allowed for that. But that should be we need to lead forward. I might even have to record that webinar if the email hadn't been sent yet to kind of position it as that because that could be a huge catalyst for success there. Thanks
Right.
for bringing that up.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be fun to see. Like, I don't know if there's any really any statistic that's out there. Are most people simplifiers? Are most people multipliers?
Wow, I'd love to know. I tell you what we can do. We can do it in the collab and then
Hmm.
provide that back. That'll give us, a couple hundred that we can have all over the world in all different sizes of businesses. So that'll be
Right.
interesting to see. It'll
Yeah.
start come January 1st, if not before.
It'll be cool. And to see, um, are there any relations between, let's say, simplifier multiplier versus, let's say, Colby or
Yeah.
Strength Finder or anything else, right? It would be very neat to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's good to point out. So we're both, from a Colby perspective, 7383. I want to correct. That is correct, correct? You're
I'm a
7383?
7373.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
70.
and you're
Oh, yeah.
7383.
I am.
Yes.
Yeah. But
Yes.
here, you are clearly a simplifier.
Yes.
I'm clearly a multiplier. I
Yes.
think it's
Yeah.
very fair, at least as it's unfolded here in our conversation. I think it's fair to say. But
Yes.
yet our Colbys are the same, in which we connotatively take action. From refresh me, your print survey
Seven
results, what
three.
are they?
I'm a 7-3.
7-3. Ah,
Yes.
yeah. Is
Yeah.
that life to be happy?
Yes, correct. To be
To find
happy and to
meaning,
be successful.
happy and successful. Yeah,
And
and
yes.
succeed and achieve. Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Which is the 3-1 here. Mine's, of
Right.
course, succeed and achieve, everything to be correct, right, and perfect, which
You're
is
right.
major
Yeah,
foot on the gas and major foot on the brake at the same time.
absolutely. And I think you took Mary's
I did.
assessment. You're a B do, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That's correct. Yes.
And I think that doing part is a multiplication. And this would be fun to speak to Mary about. I'm a B say, right?
Ah,
And
yes.
and I wonder if there's some sort of simplification
In the say
thing
portion
in the
versus the do
say
portion.
portion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Well,
it sounds like you're applying things,
yes.
right? By doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Practical application. So even these concepts that we're introduced to, triple play being one of them, the
Hmm.
practical application of the triple play for me is collect, combine, create.
Hmm.
It's the creation formula. The
Right.
creation code is how I've deemed it and trademarked it now. But it's the awareness that every day you collect, by default, I encourage us to consider combining it with who you know, what you know, and where you know.
Hmm.
If you do, you will create each and every time without fail.
Hmm.
That's an awesome little formula. Yeah, that's
Amazing.
a good
Yeah.
point. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
have to have Mary on. She's amazing, and
She is.
yeah, yeah, she'll bring a different perspective to it, and this will be great. Well, I look forward to continuing the conversation around simplifier multiplier. I feel like it's so impactful for entrepreneurs to understand one what they are, and two look for what they are not.
Yes. Stay in your own lane.
Stay in your own lane.
Yes.
And of course, in my world, and you should expect this from me, it's all collaborations, all of it.
Yes. Yeah.
You times zero, last time I checked, still equals zero.
Yes.
So
Correct.
anything that exists in any forward movement, it's all a collaboration. Every day that you
Yes.
wake up, you begin to collaborate with the day, the air, your bed you're laying in. Like it's all a collaboration. So to understand whether you're a simplifier or multiplier and to begin to go out into the world and seek what you are not, you will likely produce a lot higher results than you are currently if this is a new concept that you're just learning today.
Yes. I totally agree that collaboration between a simplifier and multiplier, even within the VCR concept,
Hmm.
and to collaborate, it's something that you want to reduce friction, as
Yep.
you like to use that word. Well, that's the best way to reduce friction,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. I'll multiply it, you
You're
simplify
really
it.
right. You're
Yeah.
really opening up yourself to so many more perspectives,
Hmm.
right? To bring into your perception,
Yep.
right? And why not do it any other way? Why go through the pain of having to learn everything yourself?
Ugh.
Ugh, don't want
There's
to
not
do
enough
that again.
time. There's too many things. And boy, I tried
And
to
that's
learn a
the
lot.
problem.
Yeah.
Right.
And I enjoy what I learn, but I like to share it so that others don't have to learn it the same way. Yes, it
Right.
did. This collaboration is a big deal. It's in our
Yes.
building blocks of humanity. I want to get us back there. So I'm looking very forward to
Absolutely.
working with
Well,
you.
that's how we started. It was all through connecting. We
Yep.
had to connect. You made the fire. I was the hunter.
Yes, yeah.
right? So
I
it's
got
like,
nothing to put on
oh,
the fire if you don't kill
yeah, it's
it.
like, come here and cook your meat, right? And
Yes,
so,
yes. Come on
yeah, it was
down.
all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As expected, wonderful conversation. I really appreciate you making the time today and joining us here on the Collab podcast or Seed Spark Collab podcast. We'll have this thing up before too long, and I'd love to do another one. Perhaps we dive off into the VCR formula next time.
absolutely. I would love to do that.
That'd be a lot of fun. I'll tell you just a little insight. I have a lot of folks who are in the collab, and certainly many, many entrepreneurs around the world are running on EOS, Mr. Gino's formula
Yes.
or
Yep.
Gino's framework. We do not have any rocks and even to-dos if they have some weight to them without applying the VCR formula.
Yes.
Who's the vision in this rock? Who's the
Hmm.
capabilities? And
Hmm.
sometimes that's many people. And who's the reach?
Yes. Yeah,
It's an
absolutely.
awesome way to apply the two and integrate the two. It's providing us a lot of value. So maybe we get into that next time.
Absolutely. Yes, I would love to do that.
Awesome. It was great to see you. And we'll do a guest again here for a very short future, maybe in a couple of weeks.
Sure, absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Charles.
All right. Thanks, Chad.
We'll see you again soon.
Okay, take care.
All right.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. So now we're all good. So now
Yes.
we should be able to cut it off at that time. And
Okay.
I'll probably record a little intro.
Okay.
Actually, we'll do that now. I'll click one more time. I have 1 more minute and I'll
Sure.
do an intro and hopefully they like to use it and maybe they don't and they'll make me do it again. Okay. So welcome to the Seed Spark Collab podcast. I'm your host, Chad T. Jenkins, and my wonderful and dear friend, Mr. Charles Chang from Toronto, Ontario, is joining me today. We're going to dive off into the simplifier multiplier. So, Charles, I'm so excited to have you. And without further ado, shall we begin?
I'm very honored to be here. Let's go.
Thanks, Charles. Awesome. So we'll let them cut it up and edit it, and we should be
Sure.
good. And they'll send us a link when they put it out. But
Yeah.
I do want to do more if you'd like to.
Oh, I would love to. I would love
Yeah.
to. I would love to talk about the VCR thing
Hmm.
as well. And maybe I should present to you what I presented at the Young
Oh, I'd love
Professionals
that.
Network. It
Yeah.
was people were coming, asking me,
Really?
yeah, they were talking, they were so into it. It's like, this is business. You can dumb it down to three components. It was
And you can dumb
incredible.
down your assets to three components. And then
Yeah.
once you dumb them down to those three components, you categorize them, you'll see that they're laying dormant. There's
Yes.
probably 20 or 30% revenue growth in every entrepreneur's business that I meet when we help them understand they have vision assets they're not monetizing, capabilities that are not at capacity, and reach that they've never thought about monetizing at all.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the incredible.
So much
I was
fun.
asked actually to share at an organization. It's a
Hmm.
nonprofit organization because of this. They just happened to be attending. And
Uh-huh.
then the another nonprofit organization asked me to be part of their board to be able to present this there. So this
Really?
is it's crazy. Like this, like
Wow.
it's you have to